Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram. Today let's talk about zero. Did Aryabhatta invent zero or whosoever discovered it? Let this be discussion once again. And this is being dedicated to Akhand and impeccable wisdom. Let's start with that. Now, let's review the literature. As we know, the divine mathematics of the world. My honest exploration and write comments about different things I know about the past, present, and what could be done at a later date. Now, the first thing which comes to my mind, the impeccable wisdom about zero itself. The most important discovery in the world is zero, but the question is, who discovered the foundation of zero first? Is it Aryabhatta or someone else? And how we can proceed from that to explain the concept with scientific evidence. Now, the definition of evolution of number zero as given in different books is this. Zero is an empty number quantity. Adding zero to any number leaves that number unchanged. In mathematical terms, zero is the additive identity of the integers, rational numbers, real numbers, and complex numbers, as well as other algebraic structures. This is definition to start with. Multiplying any number by zero has the result zero, and consequently division by zero has no little meaning in arithmetic. The divine mathematics transformation, as you have seen the word, Sanskrit is called Shunya, which means empty. Arabic is called Sifar, the empty. Latin and Greek call it Zephyrus. Italian called Zephyrus as zero. French and English called in from 1598 as zero. This is how the zero has evolved from the very beginning, from Shunya to zero as such. Now come to the main question, the mathematicians of the world. Who invented zero? Aryabhatta or Vedic mathematician, as this picture says. And I am very clear, no one can invent zero. It is not something invented by someone which was not there. Zero is the divine soul. You can only discover it, you cannot invent it. And I am very clear, Maharishi Yajnavalkya discovered zero long back, not Aryabhatta or anybody else. Now, this is a picture of Yajnavalkya. How did he discover the real zero or reveal the zero to the world as we know? He discovered his inner soul as Shunya and zero. Now, I am making it very clear that he is very fond of only Surya and himself, and he did not believe any other person to be teacher. He knew very well he, his soul, and Surya are the one who understand, and there is a meaning in this particular concept itself. Let's explore as we move on. Now, this is zero picture, concept from Shunya, Atma. Now, I am coming very clear. What he said is Atma, the soul, which is again a zero or dot point from which everything appears. Zero is the foundation, zero sustains everything, zero concludes everything. So that way the dot is the one concept from which everything is originated, and this picture of universal consciousness is the center from dot from which everything appeared in the entire universe. This concept appears in the work of Maharishi Yajnavalkya very clearly. Now let's understand Atman, the primordial divine soul. Sanatana Dharma says the divine universal soul is Atma. It cannot be cut, burnt, or dissolved. It is indestructible, insoluble, integrated, indistinguishable, inexhaustible, and eternal. Everything in the universe has come from soul. Everything in the universe will go back to soul, is sustained by soul. All our realization are only through the soul. My earnest perception. The above qualities are perceptible in the inert dark matter called noble gases. You have helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, etc. They are the one which represent universal consciousness. The inert dark matter cannot be cut, burnt or dissolved. They result Atma, soul, and all the qualities which are written about Atma is found only in noble gases or inert gases. As such, I have already explained many times before. Then comes the question of the statement which makes me say it was Maharishi Yajnavalkya. This particularly very often quoted thing which I learned for the first time in a movie Guide as a child itself. It's a Purnam Adha, Purnam Idham, Purnam Purnama Uddashyate. Purnasya Purnam Adhe, Purnama Eva Vishishate. That means this is full, that is full. From fullness emerges fullness. Take fullness from fullness, fullness will remain. Let's take another example to illustrate the same concept, this particular shloka. This is Isha Upanishad is again written by Maharishi Yajnavalkya. The first one is Brihad Upanishads. Both the things are the copy of Yajurveda. Now an explanation by Shiv Bhushan Sharma, that's me. 0 divided by 0 is equivalent to 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. Other numbers lead to 1. This is the unique nature of Shunya and 0, and this is what I have made it very clear. Now let's understand the concept a little more clearly. The divine mathematics is the general knowledge. Every number divided by the same number is equal to 1, which has been used by many people, including me and other people. Let's not talk of somebody. But Purnam is the complete, impeccable wisdom of Yajnavalkya. He says 0 divided by 0 is 0. That is not equivalent to 1. And that is the precise point which makes me understand this shloka has 0 in it. The resultant number is not 1. 0 before any number has no additional value. 0 added after number is multiplied by 10. And that 10.34 spirals of universal consciousness, all these things have come out of from 0 only. I still remember having answered a question in Quora. Did Aryabhatta invent 0? Then how did Ravan have 110 heads? And that answer centers on the same thing about divine consciousness and has been well accepted and done very well. Even his viewership is pretty good. It's already more than 5 million. Now comes the question of genesis of modern numerals. Brahmi did not have 0. Hindi has a 0 to 9. Arabic also has a dot to things. Medieval has got this, and modern is the way written on the bottom. I have a very honest question. It is said that English letters, the modern letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., are the Arabic numerals. But I am 100% sure they are not from Arabic. They have come from India, Sanskrit origin only. And I would like to people to understand, origin of number is from India, Sanskrit language or Devanagari or what Hindus call it. Now comes the question of man-made mathematics. I am coming to very clear. Brahmans of Akhand Bharat conceive the divine mathematics by understanding the nature as such in the universal consciousness. Then they were the people who taught divine mathematics to the world. It's the Zoroastrians from Iran. They came and learned mathematics from Brahmans of Akhand Bharat, and the Zoroastrians taught the Indian mathematics to Arabs thereafter. Arabs modified the concept into algorithms and other things. As you know, in man-made mathematics is a man-made concept, not a divine mathematics. Divine mathematics converted to man-made concept, that was something. Arabs taught modified mathematics to the West. Mest gave it a new man-made format and patented it. And West taught man-made mathematics to the world, based on which we have the physics, chemistry, and all the sciences, and all the defects in the world's educational system, starting from man-made mathematics to physics, chemistry, to medical sciences, to all the 64 arts, is based on the man-made concept, which is defective, defective, and defective. And that's where my emphasis is, that we should find the divine mathematics as designed by nature, which Brahmins had done it. Now, to give it a new form, it is Shiv Bhushan Sharma who is trying to give it in the form of Divyan, the divine design, and we will proceed now hereafter. This is second series of my videos. Now it is precise part of my Akhand itself as you move on. Now a new era of divine mathematics is emerging. Now I am being little more precise about what I have done. I have few questions and answers which I know. Can a human being discover the soul and zero aura as such? Are the modern human beings lesser than the ancient Indian sages of Akhand Bharat? Is the second question. The ancient Indian sages were genuine Brahmins. I know very clearly they were in tune with universal consciousness, called Nirankar Nirgun Brahman, or omnipotent, omnipresent universal consciousness, with which the entire universe was designed. They knew it very well. They could recognize, conceive, and reveal the science of divine mathematics because they were Brahman, in tune with Brahman. That's it. Every human being is a genuine Brahmin, and I believe it very clear. Every human being can be a genuine Brahmin, like the ancient, like me. We are no lesser than anybody else. That's one thing which I clear it. All the human beings are born to be Brahmins only. Other professions come up much later, but ignorance does not make us Brahmin is true. We have to think, work with intelligence, Gyan Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga, Akhand Yoga, to reach the level of universal consciousness, which I have done over a period. We must be in tune with Akash Kosh, which is the universal consciousness, which is all the concept of the universe are recorded of the past, present, and future in Akash Kosh. And Akash Kosh is a Schumann resonance fold or field which modern science does talk about. Let's to understand that. Second, Akash Kosh is the treasure of universe knowledge as such. The past, present, and future is recorded there. Ionosphere layer of Mother Earth is one of the concepts which I call Akash Kosh. Now you can see the picture of Schumann resonance field, which universe is talking about, and three phases are there. But the inner phase frequency is 7.83 hertz, which is alpha frequency. That is the frequency in which human beings can tap and learn to get all the information of the entire universe is recorded there. That's it. A human with 7.83 alpha rhythm can be in tune with Akash Kosh, and the Schumannism is my statement. Now comes the question of, has any human being achieved that state of universal consciousness of Akash Kosh, integrity, Schumann resonance field of 7.83 Hz is a question which comes to my mind. Now let me explain to you the work of neuroscientists of the world. 100 years plus, EEG electroencephalogram has been taken and recorded, and the conclusion neuroscientists of the world is 10.5 Hertz alpha waves are seen in the posterior part of the brain. That means back part of the brain, occipital, maybe parietal. When the mind is at rest, eyes are closed, and rest of the brain does not have alpha frequency, even 10.5 Hertz. This is the record. Rest of the brain has no alpha frequency. It's only posterior part when the mind is at rest and eyes are closed. And on thinking, alpha waves are replaced by beta wave, which is faster than more 10 12 hertz. After opening the eyes, no alpha waves are seen at all. This response is called alpha block and desynchronization. This was the central concept of my PhD research work. This is the EEG which I found in everyone in the world except Shiv Bhushan Sharma. Now, part of the PhD, two EEGs I'm going to say. First thing, the power of the EEG at that particular stage, you can see in both the pictures, shape is identical. Main subject of research is Shiv Bhushan Sharma. Me, because nobody else could do it, I had to be used as a subject for research because the lack of the subjects is something which is very precise, had to be done because there was no other go. But controlled subjects of hundreds and hundreds of them, their presentation is done with a closed eyes. In closed eyes, you can see alpha in both the sets as such. So I think this is very clear that I and everyone can produce alpha frequency with the closed eyes. There is no doubt. But the difference is power is almost 3 times more in my case, particularly with samadhi state when the concentration is on top of the head. In others is lesser. Now take the second position. When you open the eyes, in Shiv Bhushan Sharma's case, that is my case, you can find alpha frequency abundant, particularly with samadhi state. Total power and alpha you can see distinctly stands out. This was the EEG done on me hundreds of times and also the subjects. And it was controlled by Dr. Gangadhar, who had done PhD in the same subject from IIT Madras. Under his supervision and my guide's supervision, he is the one who did all the work and presented to the world. I am thankful to him for giving his time and energy and computer based thing at that given time when things were just starting in 1998. So you can see in my case, with after opening, I have abundance of that, power is very high. Whereas in others you have alpha is not there, it is more of betas and the power, and you can see the comparison of the power also is lesser. That means the Akhand Yoga by and large brings lot of power in the brain. Entire head, entire nervous system is integrated. You can see the part in this particular thing. Second thing, later as we moved on, I got other EEGs with the power spectrum analysis much better. When I started working in Chennai University, we took different EEGs of mine and others of my subjects as such. Now, two EEGs of 2018, after finding Divyank, I'm going to show it. This is 2018. With the closed eyes, there was 8.4 Hz alpha frequency throughout the brain as such. You can see it very clearly. But the frequency is 8.5. It's a peak throughout the brain in all the 16 or 32 or 64 channels as such. This is closed eyes 8.5, very distinct. Nobody could. This was amazing transformation from 10.5 Hertz, which came down to 9.43 during my PhD work. Now came down to 8.5 with eyes closed in 2018. But same thing, the next part, after opening the eyes, from 8.5 Hertz it became 8 Hertz, which is very close to 7.3 Hertz, which is Schumann resonance field or ionosphere or Akash Kosh as such. No wonder with this concept I have been able to tap from Akash Kosh all the information of the entire universe proceed from very beginning to today. Since my focus is in spiritual science, my concentration for this is only on zero. Did Aryabhatta do it or somebody else? From someone else in the previous, I found it was Yajnavalkya, which is very clear in his statements in Brihad Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, etc. And other statements are very, very clear. And I'm glad the first time I heard that was in the movie called Guru, the guide Devanand's, way back in 1964-65. Now come to question Akash, the universe space before the creation, and let's understand that. Now this is a picture as a same thing as a dot from which everything is a concept. So concept of Shunya Atma started from there. Now the science of yoga. Now comes the question. I am a spiritual scientist. I am the provider of Kundalini Yoga, Akhand Yoga as such. After my initiation to simplified Kundalini Yoga, I went and learnt the art of yoga once again, 4 months basic course in September 92 to December 92. And yoga teacher and center was this, and this was the presentation of one of the experiences during the process where I experienced Shunya around myself. So there comes, I have shown my EEG is very different from anybody else. But can we also experience that what Yajnavalkya did it within our body, or you have to presume it? Because I still believe an experience within the body as such, one by one, is going to give you a conviction, because that is what cognition comes of. That is what is required to prove it in the scientific term. I can do it. Now, let me give you the picture. This was the experiment of learning to work with the light and different centers of consciousness or Kundalini as such. The first step, imagine a ball of white light in the pelvic area or Muladhara chakra, as you can see in the picture very clearly. Light is the lower part, which is Muladhara chakra in the pelvic region. Second thing was, go to second step, imagine the ball not in Swadhisthana chakra, which is sexual energy, which is in the sacrum part. Third was to raise it to this imagine of navel or Nabhi chakra, which is in the umbilical cord, which is connected with adrenal gland, a survival gland. In that light, I could feel the light within and experience that very well, from Muladhara to Swadhisthana to Navel as such. The next step was to concentrate on the heart or Anahata chakra. These are the chakras which are talked about, Sat chakra, Nirupana as such. Same sequence as such, and light you can see in the heart as such. Then comes the question of fifth step. Imagine the ball of light in the throat or Vishuddhi chakra. This was a turning point. Very moment I imagined the light, brought the light into the throat, I experienced a jerk, and as I experienced a jerk, I found myself engulfed in white light as such, as if my entire body is surrounded by white light. And that was an amazing experience. And that experience I'm showing in this particular thing, and all the five chakras as such, and you can see the light around my body. And it was amazing, because it's something which I never dreamt and never even imagined, never even knew about it, and as such. But then it was so amazing that after the whole process was concerned, when everybody went, I sat with that yoga teacher and explained to him my experience as such during the meditation as such. And then he gave me very unexpected advice. I shared the experience with the yoga teacher as the experience step by step. He asked me not to tell anyone about this at all. And I asked why? Because they will think that you have gone insane or mad. I was very surprised. A conscious experience of seeing the light and aura around my body is considered a mad, insane process. How could it be? I am only being honest, truthful, and experiencing it. For me, it was a simple thing. Even for my initiation, I experienced the movement of Kundalini within my body, moving from Manipura chakra to Ajna chakra. As we pass through the one of the nadis, Kurma Nadi. It was very distinct, which people did not believe it. But I cannot help it, I am experiencing it, and it was amazing. I had gone for that after my breakfast, so Kundalini was working in digestive system, Samana Prana at that given moment. As I moved, he moved it to between my eyebrows. So Kundalini has to go there within 22 minutes. I could feel the movement from digestive being forced to go to that area which was not the center of consciousness that given moment of time. And this is what I've been saying. Kundalini goes where it is required, not wherever. And wherever you think goes it. So after breakfast, lunch and dinner, don't do intellectual work for at least 1.5 hours. And when you get after that, then do intellectual work so that your digestion, other activities are not disturbed. And as a medical doc, I found this particular concept and my designing life according to Vedas, Upanishads has made my life very clear. Now at 74, 75 years, my anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology is as good as 21 years, and all the parameters are as good I should have been at 21 years, and it is. And such a genuine experience like this is considered a madness, and that is what I have been trying to tell the world. All the psychologists, counselors do not have any experience, and copycat things are making genuine spiritual scientists, people, mathematicians, make my look like mad people, and then drug them with the psychiatric drugs, ECT, etc., and killing the genuine people as such. And that is where I am doing things so that all the genuine mathematicians, spiritual scientists can lead the world with the perfect knowledge, not being made into morons by these drugs of different nature. I do not take any medicine at all because I found all the medicines on me are coming in the way of homeostasis system, making me a perfectly defective person. And one by one I have dropped all. As I have dropped the old medicines which I used to as a medical doctor, now I don't take, and I'm 1,000 times better than before, because all these things are blocking our system, because they're going against the nature design. And I do not want nature design homeostasis to be disturbed by anything by and large. That is the reason I'm sharing with the world that you got to become a pure vegetarian, no alcohol, no smoking, no drugs at all. Make your sensitive system very powerful so that you can conceive yourself to the universal consciousness. This is the new video, and all the videos going to mathematics and others for the new education system of the entire world, because all the education system I see throughout the world is man-made concept. Physics is there, chemistry is there, medical science, medical doctor don't even know what is a female menstrual cycle. Neuroscientists don't even know what is the function of the outer three layers of neocortex. Mathematicians do not know even ABC of divine mathematics. What kind of knowledge we have? No wonder the world is divided, and all the success is based on trial and errors, not because of perfection. That's the reason I have taken it on myself in the last 20 years to do work for the benefit of the entire world in education itself. And that's it. Now I'm making another point. Skin and eyes have a common origin called the ectoderm layer, which is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Ectoderm, from which nervous system is developed, skin is developed, and eyes are developed. As nervous system, eyes can see it, naturally skin can also see. We can train the skin to see, and I was only saying because I'm a sensitive person, not taking any drugs, and my entire sensory to motor component is perfectly normal, like a young boy who is just born without any deficiency. And I think my vegetarian diet, no alcohol, no smoking, no drugs, have made me very, very sensitive. But unfortunately, other sensitive people cannot deal with the people, they drug them and kill them. But I, being a medical doctor, I have not allowed anybody to give me even single medicine. I would rather move out to lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy life. That's it. And the process, and this particular picture was taken in 1993. If you see my picture very clearly, you can see the aura around my body, and you can also see the light on top of my head. And you can see Swami Sukhodananda next to me. In his picture on the right side, you do not see the light. But you see in the left side, you can see the light on the left side and right side on top as such. I think even Canon A1 mine could take this particular picture in 93. I could experience this. EEG is something which is never done in the history. I think this is evidence is required in the medical sciences and the mathematics to show what is the perfection, and I think that is what it is. Now coming to the last part, I am not going to details of it, but these are all experience I have done. I think is enough for now. This is where comes zero is not invented by Aryabhata, was a part of Shunya from Rigved itself. Rishis had experienced it, lots of these Brahmins had done it, and the one who brought the whole wisdom of impeccable zero into a shlok form in Ishopanishad and Brihadupanishad was Maharishi Yajnavalkya. And same thing in a medical science I have experienced and shown with the evidence which no one can deny it, so that we can lay a good foundation for perfect divine mathematics, perfect physics, perfect chemistry, perfect medical sciences, so that everybody can be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. And that is it. I think that should do for the day. Thank you very